Coming Down is proudly sponsored by Colorado Ganja Gear, high-quality, artistically inspired herb grinders. So let me tell you, these things are great. I actually own one. My favorite part is the perfect consistency you get after grinding. Some grinders just pulverize your herb into dust, but the razor-sharp teeth and smooth action on these always leave you with perfect, fluffy, evenly ground herb. The craftsmanship is top-notch, made from aircraft-grade aluminum to guarantee you won't get metal shavings mixed into your herb. But the best part, truly, is each grinder features original artwork created by Colorado artist Lori Beatty. She creates unique mandalas that are laser-etched into each magnetic lid. And each grinder comes in a silk bag and has free shipping. So just go to etsy.com/shop/Colorado Ganja Gear and enter the code COMINGDOWN in all caps for $5 off, or go to the show notes for this episode and follow the link. Thanks and enjoy the episode.
Hey everybody, welcome to Coming Down. I'm your host Matthew, joined here by my co-host Nathan.
Hello everyone. Dude, so you you feel a little tired?
I might never need to eat again, my friend.
Yeah, what'd you get into today, man?
Oh man, so the elevator operator at the theaters, her name's Liz, invited me to lunch today at Fogo de Chao.
Nice, dude.
Oh my god.
Now, for people who don't know what Fogo de Chao is, give them the breakdown.
So it is a Brazilian steakhouse. They have, in front they have a buffet, which is essentially, in my mind, a trap for the unwary. It's got a really nice soup station. They've got various cold items like prosciutto, salami, like a bunch of nice charcuterie spread with like some pickled veg, etc.
Nice.
There's also various salads and cheeses and other cold items that you can just load the fuck up on, and they pray that you do, because that's like just the cheapest stuff that they have.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, maybe not so much with the prosciutto, etc., but like,
you know,
they,
put a bunch of vegetables and stuff.
Yeah, stuff that no one needs to prepare, that they just
Right.
laid out, and that they can just lay out more of. And there's like, pineapple and other fruits and stuff that you can grab. And there's also, I already mentioned the salads. It's like a big salad bar.
Yeah.
Really fancy salad bar. And so if you do the full meal deal, you get all that you can eat from that section, as well as the other section, which is where they walk around with various cuts of meat on enormous skewers that look like swords.
Right.
It's pretty fucking amazing.
And then you just hail them, and you're like, I'd like some of that.
Yeah, you don't even need to hail them. They've got these cards on your table. One side is red, one side is green. And if you're ready to go, you turn it to green.
Nice.
And if they've got something on a skewer, they stop by and they say, "Would you like some of this, sir?"
Uh-huh.
And I'm really happy that I went with a veteran, because she steered me right. I mean, she also like got a little bit of the salad bar, because she's like, "You can't just eat all meat."
Right.
And I was like, I mean,
Watch me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got a little bit of the pickled veg and like some other things that look good, just to have a little bit of something else. You know? But I knew I was just there for the meat. And I also tried some of the charcuterie because it looked really good.
Yeah.
And some like smoked salmon and some other shit.
Nice.
But yeah, I didn't fuck around with soup or salad because, I'm not a rookie in that sense. Like, I know I'm not going to try to fill up on other bullshit when I'm there to just eat my weight in meat,
Yeah.
So yeah, we chowed on that for a little bit, and then...
And like, what kind of meat cuts are we talking here? Is it all like beef, or is there like a bunch of different things?
And this is another reason why I'm glad I went with the pros, because they at first they come around with like a bunch of chicken legs, that they just got done, and then like, a big chunk of top sirloin, and then they come around with a bottom sirloin. And for each of those, Liz was just like, no. And I'm like, yeah, okay, no, I don't need any of that.
Okay.
And she's just like, sirloin, it's like a lean cut of meat. Like, it doesn't have any fat on it. It's not going to really benefit from this style of cooking because it's really just this big fucking rotisserie. Just like, all the meat cooks on those skewers inside of this big fucking grill. And, so she's like, let's hold out for lamb chops, beef ribs, and New York strip. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And they also fucked around with some pork tenderloin. And I was like, yeah, I'm in for some of that too.
Sure.
The only thing I didn't fuck with was the sausage because I thought that they were going to dump a whole coil on me because I hadn't really seen how they'd done it yet.
Oh, sure.
But what they do is you've got this little plate with tongs and like they cut like a nice small cut off of whatever they're making, and like then they lean it out so that you can grab it with the tweezers, and then they finish the cut.
Oh, there you go.
And then if you want more, you can ask for more. You can get as much as you want.
Right, because it's an all-you-can-eat deal.
Right, but most people just take like one or two pieces off of whatever it is, and then like munch on that, and then wait for something else that's hot to walk by. So that you're never really getting any cold meat on your plate.
Yeah.
And oh, dude, yeah, those they had some bacon wrapped beef ribs.
Oh, baby.
And like pork ribs and like, dude, just all the things. It was so good.
Sounds awesome.
Little lamb chop lollipops.
Yeah.
And and they had the way that they did the beef rib actually was more like a brisket, and it had like this salt crust on it.
Oh,
it
yeah.
So good.
That's awesome. Apologies to our vegetarian listeners.
If you're vegan or vegetarian, don't bother with fogo de chao. Your time will be wasted.
Yeah. Oh man, that sounds awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And so and it's normally pretty expensive, but if you go at lunch, it's a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, when our bill came, it was like $70 and change.
Okay, for two.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
We didn't get anything to drink, but
yeah,
like I think we ordered some extra sides that they charge you for, like mashed potatoes and
sure.
There was some like polenta and plantains because I was like, let's fucking get the whole Brazilian thing going,
Yeah.
Plantains were good.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds awesome, man. I've never been, but I've heard tale from numerous people, and I'm just like, just need to find the time and the money to go down and do it.
Fuck yeah. They also do a brunch apparently.
Oh sweet.
And for happy hour they've got some good deals too, like they do empanadas and like
cool
sliders and other kind of smaller stuff.
Yeah, I think that's actually what I was looking at, was if you do a happy hour, which I think is pretty short, it's like 4 to 5 or something. I believe
that's correct, yes.
But if you sneak
literally an hour.
Yeah, if you sneak in there during that time, you can get out for a bit cheaper.
Yeah, but you're not going to get the whole like big presentation.
Oh, you don't get the whole experience.
I mean, there might be some way to do that, but like from what I understand, if you're not there for lunch or dinner, you're not going to get the all you can eat thing. But like they do have some great happy hour specials that are like well done, or not well done, but well made. Like sliders and empanadas and other kind of Brazilian stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely recommend
it. Man, all right, yeah, you're making me hungry.
Not me. I will never be hungry again.
Yeah, right?
Just standing up was a fucking ordeal.
Just getting those meat sweats.
Oh, dude,
right in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to have the meat sweats until at least tomorrow.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Well, shit, man, we should endeavor to go out and do that one of these days.
Sand. Yeah. It's worth it. And I was thinking about this today, like, I do tend to eat out fairly frequently, but I tend to go to the same places. Mm-hmm. And it's always kind of like in a lower price range.
Yeah.
And that's, that's fine. That's what fits my budget. But it would be nice to like, maybe not do one or two of those and go somewhere nice instead.
Yep. For sure. Yeah. Forsake a few $10 meals to go and get the nice meal once in a while.
Exactly. Because there's just so many spots in Portland that I've been meaning to go to.
Fuck, man, we have so many nice restaurants. I mean, we have so much good food in that low price range it's a little hard too, but like we have a lot of nice restaurants here.
Oh, absolutely.
You are spending $40 a person or more if you want, drinks and stuff. So, but hey, looks like our guest for the evening is here.
Absolutely.
I'll let him in and we'll wrap this up.
Absolutely.
Here, you can guest star our intro again.
Hell yeah.
Because that's how we're doing it these days.
What's up, dude?
You guys drink during these?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we picked up some too, because we figured that was how you wanted to roll.
I went to a party at a coworker's last weekend, and I brought my alcohol there, so they brought it. So if you guys want some Hennessy,
Look at that. All right.
All right. When in Rome.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
He's
Nice.
still rolling right now?
Yeah, totally. We're going to leave all this in. Yeah. So as our listeners know, we've been doing this on the fly, so we're actually introing the episode we haven't even recorded yet with the guest who just rolled in. So we'll just jump into it so we can get this story recorded.
Right. And I imagine if you're listening to us right now, you've already found a platform. But you should definitely check out our mothership, which is comingdownpod.com. It's got links to all the show notes as well as other episodes and other platforms. And it's got links to our Patreon. Thank you to everyone who's already supporting us. And if you'd like to support us, just head on over there to patreon.com/comingdownpod, or you can find links on the website. We have tiers that start at $1, and you get access to all of our exclusive content, as well as some merch, depending on what level you pick.
Yep, totally. And thank you to everyone who's chipping in. Always like to say thank you because, y'all are just the best.
Hell yeah, helping us keep the lights on. So if you like what you're hearing, hit us up on Twitter at comingdownpod, or if you'd like to be on the show, you can also hit us up on comingdownpod@gmail.com. That's our email address. Let us know what you think, or, hit us up if you want to join us here at the table.
Yeah, for sure. Been getting a lot of guests lately.
Yeah.
It's great.
Absolutely. And lastly, if you'd like to give us a rate and review on Stitcher, it really helps us out with visibility.
Hell yeah.
Other than that, let's go!
So, what do we want to talk about? Where do you want to start?
Oh, man. All right. I'm going to tell you guys. Have I told you guys the story of how I lived with a terrorist?
I definitely read some shit on Twitter.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I've heard it from you.
I didn't choose to live with a terrorist, but
yeah, you gave me kind of the you gave me a couple of the bullet points one time when we were hanging out. But yeah, I haven't heard the whole thing fleshed out. So
yeah, so I'll start with this. It's my freshman year of college. I didn't live in the dorm because living in dorms is fucking expensive for some reason. Yeah, and you can't just pay for housing. You have to buy the food packages and stuff like that. So anyway, trying to save money.
And everyone I've known who's lived in dorms is it's not conducive to college.
No.
Yeah, it's just you. Yeah, they're loud and you don't get a lot done, and if you're trying to do well in school, the dorms aren't gonna help you. So I spent
a lot of time at the dorms because all my friends stayed there, and my girlfriend at the time stayed there too. So I got to have that experience, but I think the best thing about living in the dorms is probably just networking, because later down the line you get to meet people who are I lived with so and so in the dorms. There's a party at this house. Blah blah blah. So that was. But yeah, I didn't really feel like I missed out that much on that. But so I ended up signing up for this quad. Do you guys know how that works?
For our listeners who don't understand.
For the listeners. So you sign up, and essentially you get your own living space. My quad was just a room with a sink,
right?
And then you share a kitchen and a couple bathrooms.
It's one of those type situations.
Yeah, I lived in one of those in Bend that was just off campus, but I was not going to school.
But it's student housing still.
I guess I think it's catered towards students, but it's not.
Oh, but it's not reserved for students.
Yeah, I lived at this place called the Fillmore Inn. It was
because we had one in my hometown, and it was the fucking crack house. It was the known crack house. That place was sketch.
So was the Fillmore Inn.
Okay,
this was that place.
Okay. So
this
type of place just sort of lends to that then.
Oh, it's awful. So the carpet was old office building carpet. You know what I mean? Yeah, right. Kind of really coarse, really hard.
Zero pile. It's just kind of a texture on the floor.
Yeah. And this place was disgusting. I lived there for 2 years. With the terrorists for the first year. I'll get into that in a second. And then a whole bunch of people just keep on filtering in and out, and at one point someone clogged the toilet so bad that like overflowed into the bathroom, and no one would clean it. No one would unclog it.
Well, I was gonna say like the shared
It's
living
fucking horrifying.
or like the shared spaces are just like gnarly, right?
Yeah.
Because no one does.
No
anything.
one takes responsibility, and I think like I lived with like 30-year-olds, which was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because like I was like 18, freshly out of high school, and I'm just like trying to connect with these people. I'm just like, oh, sick, we're living together, you know. But no, and I would have people like eat my food because we'd like
Right.
share a fridge and stuff
Right.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking weird.
Yeah, that sounds awful, man.
But no, it got so bad one time that like the toilet overflowed into like the kitchen, and I just had to leave. I was like, I'm not cleaning up this wet pile of shit. You know,
Yeah.
it was disgusting. Anyway, so I get there, I get settled in, and I haven't met any of my roommates yet. And then this guy comes walking up like the stairs to our quad, and then turns out we share a living space, and it's this guy I went to high school with. I don't know if I should I drop his name? Like,
first names only is kind of like our,
we
our
do
thing.
we do first names, or like if you don't even want to do first name, we do just like an initial or a pseudo.
Well,
like it's up to you.
I mean, if any listeners are going to Google this, his name will pop up anywhere. And the funny part about this, his first name, last name, same name. So,
Oh,
okay. Yeah.
One of those Bruce situations.
Yeah. No, his name was Muhammad or Momo. We used to go by Momo.
Okay.
Word.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's in the news, like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna censor that.
Well,
so.
he
Yeah,
has the most common name in the world.
It is
As both of
twice.
his names.
Yeah,
That's
twice,
also
yeah.
true.
Yeah. And I went to high school with the kid. He grew up in like the neighborhood over. He was really weird. Like we used to do like hood rat shit, you know, like teenagers do. We used to like, you know, ride our bikes around and just kind of fuck around. And we would always see him like walk into the neighborhood subway, and he would just ask, "Do you have fresh cookies?" And then, depending on their answer, he would just bounce or buy cookies. It was like, yeah, it was the weirdest thing. But he was a nice guy. I didn't really talk to him in high school. But anyway, I gravitated towards him because it's like, yeah, like there are 30-year-olds and like us like teenagers.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna hang out with this guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's someone that you know versus 30-year-old strangers. That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
And you went to high school out here in Portland, right?
Yeah, well, in Beaverton.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, which is technically a part of Portland. I'll go to the grave.
I'll
saying that.
allow it. I'll allow it.
Your math checks out.
Yeah.
But so I didn't really know anybody. We hung out a couple times. Like he came over to watch football a couple times, but he mostly like kept to himself. He was a really nice kid. And then like we'd hang out here and there, and like this one time, my girlfriend at the time like took some like bullshit freshman course where you had to do like a random act of kindness.
Oh.
So like she baked cookies and like we delivered it to him, and then
because he knew he loved the cookies.
he really loved the cookies. Yeah, that's perfect.
It's an easy one.
But it was funny because like he was like, he kind of kept to himself, but like, you know, we would like sit there and talk for like 20-30 minutes at a time. But like the one time we delivered him cookies, he just kind of like cracks the door open, kind of like he like pops his head out like he's trying to hide something.
Oh,
like at the time,
right.
I didn't really think of it, and then
like, all right, private dude.
yeah,
whatever.
private dude,
Sure.
that's fine, whatever. Yeah, so we give him the cookies, and she's like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll just go fuck myself. Like, yeah, like he just says thanks, like shuts the door and like takes the cookies. I'm like, all right, tight. It's not like this was like already weird, you know?
Yeah, all right.
But yeah, and then so a couple weeks into the term, he just like kind of disappears. Like I don't see him for like weeks.
Huh.
Oh, also a really random thing he would do. I would buy eggs, and then he would eat my eggs. Like I would just find the shells cracked and like put back into the carton.
Oh, lame.
Well, I mean, like as if like he was like, oh hey, I borrowed like 3 or 4 eggs from you. I'll get you on the next carton.
Okay.
Like that's like the kind of like maybe I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. He's a terrorist, but like. But yeah, so I go home for the weekend, for Thanksgiving weekend, 4-day weekend.
Sure.
Do the thing with my family, and it's like my first like holiday back home, right? So I'm gonna see all of my friends.
Right,
Like we're
yeah.
gonna get together, and like we used to hang out at Buffalo Wild Wings. Like
I mean, like you do.
yeah, it's the suburbs.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
no we're like not drinking or anything.
Dude, B-dubs.
So it's
Yeah.
like 18-year-olds.
Yeah, when I was in Bend, it was Sherry's.
Yeah. Well, Sherry's is way tighter than Buffalo Wild Wings.
They
I'll still go to Sherry's.
would let you smoke in Sherry's back then.
That's
how
fucked
old I
up.
am.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, the hang out in the diner and slow drink coffee so you could be somewhere warm and smoke cigarettes was like a total high school move.
Classic.
Damn,
Loved it.
But yeah, and this is funny because like I'm not making this up either, but like we had dinner, and this is the moment I found out that he was a terrorist. Because on every screen at Buffalo Wild Wings, his face pops up.
Oh, shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, his face pops up because it's just like, yeah, bomb plot thwarted. Because, like, you guys know how every year there's, like, the Portland Christmas tree lighting at Pioneer Square?
Yeah.
He had this elaborate plan to blow that shit up.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
What year was this?
2010? Yeah, like
Okay.
late 2010, yeah.
So this was the year we moved here, and I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, it's the Portland Christmas tree bombing. And so, like, it's funny because, like,
Wow.
I freaked out.
Yeah,
Because, like,
shit.
I was just like, fuck, I lived with this guy. Like, now his, like, terrorist buddies trying to come get me.
I baked him cookies.
I baked him cookies.
Right?
And it's funny because, like, they released the affidavit, like, I don't know, a couple days later. So, like, I Googled it, like, looked it up, read through the, like, thing from front to back.
I'm sure you did.
And they had it, like, elaborately laid out his scheme. Apparently, he Googled... Or no, he didn't. I don't know. He like found some jihadi like websites. He got radicalized. And I want to preface this: his family are very nice people, and they like gave very like a lot of people like gave him like death threats and stuff like that. But like obviously this kid was like, I don't want the listeners to think that this is like. I want to be racially sensitive here because like
Oh sure.
Yeah, because like with I think Middle Eastern people are unfairly like persecuted and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
His family is great, and like I think it's just an outlier, like a lone wolf situation. I know
sure.
people use that term for like like white youth, but like this is literally like just a.
But I mean, if it was a family thing, he probably would have been way better at it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I read the affidavit, and apparently he got mixed up in some like jihadi like websites and stuff like that.
Shit,
and you're not. You can look this up because this is true. The way he got caught was he emailed like al-Qaeda@hotmail.com.
Shut up.
No, and then the Fed caught onto that so quick. This I'm not bullshitting. You can look for the listeners. Look up the affidavit.
Wow.
But the Fed caught on very quick, and so they
Holy shit, that's just like dialing zero and being like, operator, will you connect me with Al Qaeda?
yeah, give me all of your terrorists.
Yeah. Is there a Dr. Evil in your registry? So I need to speak with you.
Yeah, like, terrorism.com.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
yes, I will sign up.
Google how to be a terrorist.
Jeez
So-
Louise, okay.
The Fed.
Who operates Al-Qaeda at hotmail.com?
No one.
FBI.
This kid was
Yes. FBI.
dumb. Yeah. But the FBI caught wind. They replied to him using whatever, al-Qaeda@hotmail.com.
Wow.
Sign, we're not the feds.
Exactly. Would you like to come and meet us at this undisclosed location?
Right.
Well,
would you like to subscribe to our newsletter?
That happens. Yeah, I read that. So in the affidavit, they're less like, they're like, tell us more, brother, about your plan. Like, we want you to help. We want to help you carry out this evil plan or whatever.
Right.
And then they actually met him. So two FBI officers posed as terrorists or jihadists or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he came up with the bomb plans himself. And I'm pretty sure I'm telling the story correctly. You can read the papers or whatever. But
Yeah, we'll find the links on this and put it in the show notes.
Okay.
yeah. So he came up with an elaborate plan. He sent them like schematics on how to build this bomb that he wanted to like set off at the Portland Christmas tree lighting. He said all these heinous things. He wanted it to be like one of the most like great things to ever happen and like in this like state or whatever. Like something like just something evil
So-
like that.
Okay, so for the listener, our kind of like downtown, like square, I guess.
Pioneer Square.
Yeah,
Right?
Pioneer Square. It's like the big kind of like big square. It's just like the downtown thing that every
It's the
city has,
central
right?
point for our downtown. Yeah.
So every year
Junction.
they
Yeah.
build this like, I don't fuck, it's huge, dude. It's like 80-foot tall Christmas tree, and I used to catch my transfer down there going to work, and so I would watch them build it because it takes them about 4 days to build it. They erect this big trunk, and then attach all these branches like piecemeal, and then like wrap it up in lights and ornaments. It's huge, and people definitely go down there. But, like, was his plan just to, like, blow that up because there would be a lot of people there? And it's, like, a really public thing? Like, it
Well-
just seems like a weird target.
So actually, every Black Friday, like the kickoff for like Christmas season, Portland will do like a Christmas tree lighting, like a ceremony.
Right. Okay.
So that's when they like flip the lights on, and it's like a spectacle.
Right.
His plan was to blow that shit up because like that place packs out.
Yeah, because
Right.
then it would be packed.
It's shoulder to shoulder.
It's
like,
shoulder
for an
packed,
entire city.
yeah.
So then the goal is to just like hurt as many people
as possible. Yeah.
So it was just dyed in the wool fucking terrorist act.
Yeah. Awful. But so he sends them the schematics, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna build this. You meet us here before the ceremony and whatever." Apparently, he meets up with the Fed at some location. They parked like this, and it's all fake, obviously.
Right. But they strung him along to.
They strung him along to get to this point, and actually, I think that was his. We can get to this later, but I think that was his argument in court. But they like show him like they take him to this van. They show him the back, and it's like drums filled with whatever explosives they were supposed to be. And he's like, "Oh, this is beautiful." So the Fed gives him a cell, like one of those cell phones, like a burner, and then they're like, "Dial this number," and then hit send or like. Whatever the green button is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's just like, and this will go off.
Oh my god, that's crazy. So he came up with the idea for the bomb, but they told him they were going to build it for him.
Yeah,
and then
he sent them all the schematics and like all the plan for this thing.
shit.
He came up with this fucked up plan for bombing the Christmas tree lighting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so insane.
Wow. And so then they just built this like dummy bomb, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Here it is, dude. Like we're good to go."
Yeah.
Here's your phone.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So so he dials the number, hits send, doesn't go off obviously because it's
Right.
fake, and then like he calls up the Fed and is like, "Hey, I just tried it and didn't go off. What should I do?" And then they're just like, "Try it one more time," and he does it again,
Oh my
hits send,
God.
and then bam, Feds do a sweep. Yeah. But yeah, and like apparently in court he tried to argue that it was entrapment, even though like they sent him or he sent them all the like plans and the
I'm
schematics
sorry.
and stuff like
No.
that.
It's not
Yeah.
entrapment.
No, it's not entrapment at that point.
No.
Like and like I'm the first to admit that like that's their fucking canned move is fucking entrapment for so many law enforcement agencies.
Yeah.
Just like trying to get somebody to basically confess to something that they did without any fucking evidence,
Well, and I've
But,
read.
God damn it, if you give them a fucking plan for a bomb,
Yeah.
and then you tell them that you tried to set it off twice.
That second time is damning,
Well, and if you're and if you're well, and if you're just starting off with like emailing Al Qaeda like at Hotmail. It's like, okay. I've read a lot of stories and listened to some podcasts of some more gray area stuff where it's like they find someone questionable and they're not really sure if they're radicalized, and then they send undercovers and start spinning up kind of this thing, and then it's like, at what point did we sort of like move the mark on them or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, at what point did our hand sort of like
Absolutely, and like that.
and by our, I mean the American government. I don't necessarily associate with our American government.
That kind of shit's shady. Like, people who are like fucking just looking for something outside of whatever, like that's not a crime. And if you fucking teach them to become a criminal, then that's on you.
Exactly, right?
That's not what happened.
No,
That is not what happened here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah, so I found out about it while I was at Buffalo Wild Wings. All my friends were going nuts because I was like, "Yo, I live with this guy," and then like everyone's like laughing about it. I'm just like, "Oh fuck!" Like
that's
they're
fucking Momo,
coming
dude.
for me.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
But no, it was nuts.
Well, because so in the timeline, you said he had kind of disappeared for how long?
weeks, maybe at least.
Okay,
3
but not
weeks.
that long. So
Yeah.
you were effectively currently living with this
Oh,
dude.
well, while he was planning this
while
thing
this
out.
was all happening.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So they
'cause-
have a file on you. Like,
well, yeah, exactly. So like, it's funny because like I get back to school that like Sunday because school resumes on that Monday or whatever. The Fed comes through. They like already cleaned out his apartment and like they like questioned me for a little bit, but they're like not too much because they're like, oh no, we've been listening to you the whole time. And I'm just like, and it's so funny because like I'm 18.
they're like, those cookies were great.
I'm just like, fuck, because like, so the apartment complex that we lived in, like, we lived on the top floor. You can only access it from the outside. So like, our view was like this big parking lot, this sorority house, like that shared a parking lot with us, and there's like, it's Corvallis, it's pretty flat.
Right.
So I used to smoke a ton of weed out there, because like I had a corner unit, so like you can only get to my place by walking up all these flights of stairs,
Right.
all the way to my corner. So I would just pop out, hit my little janky pipe a little bit, or like out of an apple or some shit.
Yeah, buddy.
And the only thing that I'm thinking of is like, man, they probably know how much weed I smoke. Yeah. Like, this is like before weed was legalized, so I'm like, fuck, man, they're gonna get me too.
Oh no, they don't give a fuck.
No, they did not give a fuck. But
Absolutely not.
It was hilarious because I was scared shitless.
Yeah.
Over specifically that for like 2 nights. Yeah.
Right?
Like, when are they gonna pop me for all that weed?
Yeah.
See, and I'd just be running through like, man, did I say anything that's like remotely
Like damning.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, fuck Americans.
Yeah. Like, look, I'm anti-establishment from time to time, so like in the privacy of my own home, I'll say some shit, dude.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, nobody ever really says fuck the government on the phone,
Yeah.
Unless you're calling, 1-800 Al Qaeda.
Yeah.
It really makes me wonder though, because like, I don't know how much they knew about me. Like, I wonder if I have like a file. How they keep file on people.
I'm sure that they had a file on you as at least as part of the course of the casework.
Yeah.
And like that might be a part of a permanent record. But as far as like a file on you, that usually starts with fingerprints and like a dossier.
Yeah.
I doubt anybody was really drumming up much of a dossier on you.
No, probably not. But your name was certainly like listed in some documents.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone who like associated with that dude or lived around him. So that's fucking wild.
There's this really weird situation with him one time where I ran into him like in between classes or whatever. Like I came home real quick to like rip my pipe or something like that. I caught him wearing like he was wearing like really traditional like Islamic garb. And I just figured like he probably went to like the mosque or something like that, but later on when I'm going back and I'm reading all like this file that they released, apparently he had recorded like an Osama style video wearing that with a military jacket. It's fucking wild. Someone's like, "Whoa, I probably caught him in the act," when he was doing that.
Oh shit!
It's fucking wild.
Yeah, so that's crazy. So you got to be rolling through all the like history stuff and be like, oh, like were were there any of the, like the warning signs, like any of the stuff I would have picked up on,
Stop this.
Not even that, but just little stuff, just like, huh? Yeah, I guess that was weird when he was like, "Fuck America" or whatever.
Well, fuck, I'm thinking like if you really want to like just put the nail in your coffin as like a caught terrorist, the best way to do that is to film a video of you in
For real.
Some kind of militant jihadist garb,
sends a message,
Yeah, for real.
I mean, we're not really sure if like this was well, okay, now we're sure.
Yeah. But I did like a bunch of research on him after the fact too, and apparently he got kicked out of the university the year before I got there because he sexually assaulted a girl while she was like drunk or some shit. So he's been a piece of shit.
So he was just
honestly that might be worse than the act of terrorism.
I mean, since nothing happened to anyone from the act of terrorism, I would say that's way worse.
Yeah.
So where is he now? So
he's in prison.
Prison.
Yeah, I don't think he's in Oregon. I think, but last I read, he's got life or something like that.
Yeah,
at least 25.
Easily.
Well, and he's not cool enough to put in Guantanamo,
Well, no,
he's got nothing.
Well, they shut that shit down too, so didn't they?
Oh yeah, that's right. No,
well, that's what they say.
That's the whole
yeah, anybody who's emailing Al-Qaeda at hotmail.com gets a one-way ticket.
Right? Holy shit, man.
Can you imagine if that actually worked, though? Like, if Al-Qaeda was just like, what's a good idea? I kind of wish it worked that way.
Well, they just got like this canned response. Thank you for emailing Al Qaeda.
Well, the crazy thing is like, it did sort of, or at least for a time, it did sort of work like that on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's just like, fucking terrorists were just like using Twitter. What people were using the most as of like a year ago was Skype, because there's just like not really any moderation on it.
Well, you know what it was for the longest time? Fucking Halo voice chat.
No
that too.
Nobody's fucking monitoring video game voice chat.
And probably other games too, because back in the day, so when we imposed sanctions on Saddam after the first Desert Storm, we basically kind of did what we did with Japan, was like, you can't buy any military stuff, right? Like, and part of that was computers. Like, you cannot buy high-powered computers.
Yep.
And so when PlayStation I want to say 2 came out.
Exactly, yeah.
He bought like 100,000 of them because they have powerful processors.
They're fucking computers.
Yeah, and you can just strip all those parts out and then build high-powered computers. So, like, yeah, it's just it's wild what the lengths people will go to.
Oh yeah. Well, and I mean, unmonitored communications. Like that's what you're looking for. And I mean, who gives a shit what a bunch of racist 13-year-olds are saying to each other?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Nobody wants to monitor that vitriol.
Yeah.
So,
like 8chan and shit.
No, I'm just talking about video game chat.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, voice chat,
Right, totally.
It's mostly just slurs and epithets, like...
Right.
Yeah, 13-year-olds suck. How does that happen?
Right.
Give like, where did you learn this?
Seriously.
Yeah, it spreads like wildfire, right? Like, I didn't learn it at home, but I certainly said my share of fucking, like, awful, horrible slur shit when I was younger, Just, like... I mean, dude, my mom was a lesbian, and I dropped, like, the F-slurs and stuff all the time as a kid, man.
Like, people from my generation are really lucky that there isn't a permanent record of all the stupid shit that we said when we were young enough to not know any better.
Oh, yeah. I had to do a sweep of my Twitter account and delete some shit. I never said anything too hateful, but it's like, you're a dumb, like, 18, 17.
No, and that's a smart thing to do because, like, we all get wiser and smarter every year, so it's probably good to just go back 4 years and be like, you know what? Like, I had some bad takes. Like, I didn't get it at the time,
Oh,
like,
yeah, definitely.
I know even in the last couple of years I've come a long way on several things that, I feel embarrassed to say at one time I, like, defended certain points of view where I'm like, you know what? That was just a bad fucking take, man.
I was in the wrong.
Yeah, totally. I was fucking wrong.
Yeah.
I feel like Will Wheaton said it best. He's like... About every 5 years, I look back on what I did about 5 years ago, and I just kind of shake my head because I was such a fucking idiot.
Oh, dude.
And part of my learning process now is realizing that I am that idiot right now for whoever I am 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Like,
we're all just idiots.
Figuring out what I'm doing now that's fucking stupid, that's important.
Right.
Definitely.
And I take that... So I do that a lot now, and that I feel like that's kind of like the wisdom that I have at my age is the ability to start checking that earlier.
Right.
When I have something that even sort of like skirts on the edge of like, is this a bad take? I'll evaluate it more. I'll sit down and sort of like pick it apart a little more and say like, yeah, are you on the wrong side of history here? And can we just get out ahead of this, or are you gonna fucking like die on this hill for a minute and then look back and be like, you fucking asshole? Like,
that's such a great demarcation line. Is like, am I on the right side of history here?
Yeah.
I ask myself that question a lot.
Yeah, and I think the more you can ask yourself that just points to wisdom, because you're just gonna be wrong a lot.
Yep.
And that's just life, and if you can learn and grow from it and, look back on your old self and say like, well, like I'm better now and I've changed my point of view, then that's the best you can ask for.
And it's a good thing that neither one of us ever got wrapped up in Christmas tree bombing or any kind of radical jihadist shit,
dude.
Because that's the kind of thing you can't really take back 5 years later.
No, that'll stick with you for life.
It really will.
Yeah.
And that is the crazy thing, man. And like, I'm gonna talk about it, and we'll decide if we cut it later. It's like when I was in high school, man. Like I fucking hated authority. I hated everyone, man. Like I was like these kids, dude. And this was pre-Columbine. Like I was like these kids, man. I got bullied a lot. I fucking hated everything. I was, angsty and just like had a lot of rage and aggression inside of me.
Yeah,
and like,
I feel like that's natural, especially for people with testosterone.
And thankfully, I didn't have sort of the friend group or like any of the outlets that would have pushed me kind of over the edge. But I could easily say that I was on the edge of doing something heinous. And again, like, whatever. I can totally talk about it because it was fucking 20 years ago. But I mean, like, I remember having in my notebook like a drawn out plan of how I was going to kill our campus cop. Because I fucking hated him.
Yeah, fuck cops, dude.
I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, especially campus cops are kind of dicks.
yeah, and Yeah, it was just weird. And it's like, I had that in my notebook. I had fucking like a schematic and like a plan of like where I was going to get my weapons, how I was going to lure her to a spot, how it was going to go down. Obviously, that was just like fantasy in my mind. I wasn't going to act on it.
I mean, that would be something of concern for someone who's like a psychological professional, but like...
Right, but like...
You know...
Someone's just gotta put it out there and then...
But drawing up the schematic...
Gets out of your system, you know?
Right, totally. And I think maybe that was what I needed, was like just drawing it up and just being like, all right, I could do this, you know? And it felt empowering and stuff, right?
Now, if you'd actually gone to the hardware store and bought some nylon cord and some trash bags and some gloves...
If you had emailed Al-Qaeda...
That's honestly the most important part.
Right.
Did you or did you not email Al-Qaeda at Hotmail?
Yeah, and I, and I didn't subscribe to the Trenchcoat Mafia newsletter and stuff, so...
Yeah, trenchcoats at hotmail.com.
Yeah. But I mean, like, when Columbine happened, and that was only like 2 years later, removed from when I was at that stage in my life, and it was just so terrifying to me because I was like, fuck, dude, I was close.
Wait, what year did Columbine happen?
99?
99? Fuck, dude, I am young.
Yeah, so, I mean, I was in high school, my first year of high school was 97, and, and that's when I was, like, drawing up plans.
Wait, how old are you?
37.
We can cut that out if you want.
No, I don't care. I don't give a shit, man.
Shit, I graduated in 96. So.
96?
Yeah.
Shit. Matt, how old are you?
40.
But, I mean, it's just crazy to think, like... And even just getting back to the idea of, like, radicalization, like, this kid was a kid, And just, like, what pushed him over the edge? What was the moment where he was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go down this path.
This is, like, where I empathize a little bit. Well, actually, no. I don't empathize.
I empathize with
I can understand. I can
sympathize
sympathize because, like, he was an Ethiopian immigrant. I think he got here, like, in middle school. And that's the fucking rough part of your life,
really
dude. Because,
rough.
like we were talking about earlier,
Exactly.
those 13-year-olds on the internet, fucking awful people.
No, people talk
Awful
about
people.
high school being hard. Middle school is fucked.
Yeah, everybody in middle school fucking sucks.
Yeah, because you have no rewards for anything.
There's nothing.
You're not having sex. You're not into drugs.
Yeah,
like
right. No, that's what middle school is for. Like, you have kids in like elementary school, and then like you're working towards becoming an adult in high school, and the middle school is like, oh, these fucks. Like, we're just gonna take you away for 3 years from society. Throw you in middle school, and then like go from there. I guess
that's exactly right, and that's why middle school is only 3 years. It's like, just fucking get it out of your system. Most of you idiots are going to be like on the outside of puberty by the time you get out of here.
You guys are gonna suck.
Yeah, it's going to be the worst years of your life, for sure.
Smart
some middle
children.
schools are even like 2 years, I want to say, because like some elementary schools go from like kindergarten to like 6th grade.
A lot of places have shifted to moving high schools to 9 through 12, and then middle schools just 7, 8.
Okay.
There's also people who do it the other way, where... Nope, there's not. No, middle school's like 7, 8 or 7, 8, 9. But yeah.
Yeah, because 6th graders aren't the biggest pieces of shit, but like 7th and 8th graders.
Oh, they're awful.
My God.
I went to a really weird middle... Well, okay, I grew up in Beaverton, so I couldn't be as ghetto as I remember it, but, like, there's some gully shit that went down at my high school. Kids, like, got into, like, cough syrup at, like, 13.
Dude, that's fucking suburb shit, man.
Yeah, and my middle school is the reason why you can't get that shit anymore at grocery stores.
No shit.
Yeah, they actually did a hard ban on that, like, the year after I left middle school or whatever.
When I was in 4th grade... I might have told this on the pod. When I was in 4th grade, it went around the school, and it was like a big deal that 2 other kids who were 5th graders, or 6th graders maybe, fucking took a ton of cough syrup, but they did it, like, next to Spring Creek, and they got so fucking, like, loopy and out of it, and they passed out and then fell into the creek, and they both drowned.
Oh, shit.
Which was actually, like... good for me, because that was huge.
Fuck those kids.
Well, that was hugely formative, because I was like, because when I got into DARE, and they were like, watch out for all these drugs, but I was like, yeah, but kids died on Robitussin, so like, I'm just gonna stay away from that. Like, LSD sounds great, marijuana sounds great, like, but Robitussin, so I never did any of that dumb stuff, man. I've done like a whip it, like, I just don't fuck around with the, like, that other shit. I just never have.
I've done codeine a couple times.
Oh, I mean, like, we don't need to get into, like, all the drugs that I've done.
Yeah.
I've done it all. But,
Yeah.
you know.
Codeine's hilarious because that shit is worth a lot of money now.
I know,
You know?
right?
Like a bottle, like a pint bottle of Activist is like thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And it's funny because of the abuse of these substances took down those like brands, like Activists and stuff like that.
Well, it's also why you can't. Oh no, that's meth. I was gonna say it's why you can't buy good allergy.
Oh no, that's meth.
It's why you can't buy good allergy pills in Oregon. But no, it's just strictly because of meth. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Sorry,
Nope,
math.
that's meth.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's like taking a hit from the pipe for the first time. Oh no, that's meth.
Yeah.
Thought it was gonna taste like a skunk. Tastes more like cat piss and mothballs.
Yeah. I love the taste of battery acid.
Yeah, I only did meth once. It was gnarly. I don't know why we got on this subject, but
I mean, yeah, we'll talk about the times that I've done meth.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were in the meth capital of the world for a little bit, Salem, Oregon.
Yeah.
Capital, United
Holy
States.
shit,
Yeah.
We're also kind of a heroin capital too, right?
I think Portland is now.
Seattle,
The
like
whole Northwest.
yeah,
Wherever grunge touched.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
I mean, let's be real. Like, Portland's had that for a long time.
Very long time.
Before Portland was cool, this was a heroin town. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
and then like Portland got cool, and like the food industry was a thing, and it became a coke town. You know, but like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it was definitely a heroin town for a long time.
You know what's really funny? That's actually so I went to Oregon State University. At one point, it was a lot easier to get cocaine than it was to get weed,
Wow,
which is so fucked up, isn't
That is
it?
nuts.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I would like go to my drug dealer's house. I would go buy like a dime sack or some shit because I was broke as fuck. And then I remember his roommates would just come like pop out and be like, "Yo, I'm gonna go do some coke and eat a sandwich." Like that's like
Like you do.
like you do, yeah.
Just, you know, it's a Thursday.
I don't know. Me and my friends were smoking weed and eating sandwiches, but this guy was just like, "I'm
Yeah.
gonna do a lot of coke and eat a sandwich."
Yeah.
Kids are stupid.
No shit.
State school's stupid because it's like all a bunch of like rich kids. And I
Yup.
was like, I want to say like I was like poor or anything growing up. We definitely had our struggles, but like I don't know. You get to the university and then it's like, oh shit, some of these kids are fucking spoiled, dude.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Especially
It's
like
crazy.
out of staters.
Yeah.
Just like, oh yeah, you're just paying out of state
Yeah,
tuition,
Right.
just
Your
like
California
triple
money.
the fucking triple the normal tuition, which is already outrageous.
Yeah.
Like fuck.
Oh man, though, like we kind of got sidetracked on like how bad middle school sucks. You were saying like this dude moved here in middle school from Ethiopia.
Yeah. So I guess we went to middle school together too. He was a year older than me, but yeah, I'd assume that's a really tough time in your life to like move to a different country, like where you don't speak the language or any shit. So maybe that's like how we got radicalized. But I don't know. Everybody in like
Yeah.
high school was like, I guess I had one class with them. It was like media studies where we just like, you know, they give you a camcorder and you're supposed to like film shit and edit.
Right.
I wish I had those videos because those are hilarious. But yeah, no, he was a nice kid, but apparently he was just a monster. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Man.
you really hate to see it.
Yeah, seriously. No, and that is tough because your interactions with him, like, pointed to, like, yeah, this dude's cool or whatever, hang out with him, baking cookies.
I felt bad because I was legitimately stoked to see that he lived in the same quad as me because I'm like, oh shit, I don't have to go through this alone. I have my boy Momo.
Yeah, like someone I know.
Yeah.
Like, even loosely. Yeah.
Did you know at that time that he wasn't enrolled?
No, I had no idea. Like I even asked him like, hey, like what are you studying and stuff like that, and he would tell me like, oh, I'm studying so and so. But like I didn't learn until after the fact he had been expelled from Oregon State University from other heinous shit.
Oh
he did,
wow!
but
So he was just smoke screening the whole
Wait,
fucking time.
did he get
Yeah.
expelled for the assault?
he got expelled for the assault, and then I think
Wow.
maybe around that time that's when he like started reaching out to the Fed and then started working on this plan. But I guess like he was just full-time terrorist. I don't know.
Man.
Holy shit!
Yeah, crazy
God,
shit.
and that's crazy. Maybe getting expelled, too, is, like, the catalyst that, like, pushed him, because he's just like, alright, well, like, I can't go to school or whatever, so, like, fuck this, and start emailing fucking
Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda. Yeah, dude, like, that's crazy, man.
Can you imagine if like like any famous person was just their name at Hotmail or whatever, I would email Rihanna at Hotmail all the time. Oh shit! Yeah, no, that's just funny to me because like he came up with an elaborate plan, but the base of it all was an email to alqaeda at hotmail.com.
Well, see, and this is what we were talking about too that I wanted to get into a little more too. Is like, man, he's just a kid, dude.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's what's fucked up, man.
Yeah, he was 19 at the time, which like felt older to me at the time because I was a fucking child. But like looking back at it, he's fucking 19 years old.
He's a 19-year-old who is
with an elaborate plan.
Yeah, at least smart enough to come up with like, here's the bomb that I'm going to use. Like,
right. And you know what else is kind of like crazy to think about? I feel like technology has progressed so far in the past decade. Like, where were we at in 2010 when all this happened? Like, have people been watching us since like the dawn of the internet, or like?
Well, according to Snowden, like they kind of have been.
They've got everybody's number basically.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, according to Snowden, like they've been cataloging everything.
Yeah.
For as long as they possibly could. Like as soon as it was clear that we can just build a database on everyone, they just started doing that.
Yeah, I mean, Echelon's been around for a long time, and Echelon is just scanning for keywords, and that's old tech.
Yeah.
You know, and so they at least have a database on everyone who triggered a keyword in Echelon.
Yeah.
But they've got shit that's way better than that now, you know?
No, so, the only issue...
all automated, and the only, you know, like, the only issue is really storage, you know? Like,
storage and manpower, and, like, as AI gets better, like, then they can start, like, piecing things together more. Like, at least, you know, back in, say, early 2000s into, like, the early 10s or whatever, we're just like storing all of this data, but it still took man hours to like to go through it, you know,
to dig into it. But now that we've got like deep learning AI,
exactly, like it's going to get pretty easy to weed through all that data and start picking out important things and like finding trends and
all
stuff.
Those videos of dudes just jerking it. That's why they came up with it, so that people don't have to like sit through that shit.
Yep. Well, and the thing is, like, not only are they going to be able to just be like, okay, we want to dig through this group of data to find these things, they're going to be able to just like have a running like spiders, you know, just like, oh, like let's put together a list of potential threats just based on what we've gleaned from internet activity. You know, and so that's a way for them to generate leads. Mind you, what a lot of people don't understand about at least American intelligence is it pretty much doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, if I read a history of the CIA and a history of the FBI, and like, we'll leave the FBI alone, but like the CIA has been a joke from its inception.
Yeah.
Really?
We do not have an espionage division. We have a clandestine organization.
Yeah.
So
yes.
They're good at getting schmoes in another country to pull off some kind of an action to trigger some kind of a response, or to, like, you know, maybe foment a rebellion or put down a rebellion, like whatever, you know. But we have no spycraft whatsoever. We almost did after World War II because we were going to learn from the French, the British, and I think at one point even the Russians. But the guy who was in charge of our spies was so fucking paranoid that he was afraid that they would somehow fuck us over or like get control over our intelligence agency. And so he just shut it down. And we've only ever had people who go into places and try to fuck shit up.
Yep, totally. And if you really want to know how much of a joke the CIA is, like, look at all the like MK Ultra stuff.
Exactly.
Look at fucking the Men Who Stare at Goats stuff. Look at the astral projection like projects that they were working on. It's like that was our version of fucking like clandestine spy ops.
Yeah.
because like we just didn't fucking know, dude, and we wanted an edge because that's how it's always been, right? Like we have to find the edge, and we already had the edge technologically, and kind of did for a good long time. So it was like, let's look at like psychic shit, and let's look at fucking astral projection, and
LSD. What does that do? Maybe it's mind control. Who knows?
Totally. But the CIA is absolutely a joke, and it's so funny because, like, you know, they just operate under this pretense of, like, well, assuming that this organization even does exist, which we're not confirming or denying that it does or doesn't, you know, it's just like, but we all know it does, and we know they don't really do much, and they also don't communicate with the other organizations like the DOJ and fucking the FBI and shit. So,
So I mean, there's probably a list of or like a database out there with like some shit on all of us.
Yeah.
But whether or not anybody's doing anything with it is a completely different issue.
Yeah, well, I probably know the FBI already has something on me.
Oh yeah.
All that weed I used to smoke.
All that weed and all those cookies that you gave all
those hey, pot smokers, we're friendly. Yeah.